Before we met on Earth, Chapter 8, The River Remembers. There are moments in a soul's journey where everything becomes very quiet, not because the world has stopped. The world rarely stops. It keeps moving with its impatient little habits. Birds complaining in trees, clocks ticking, people forgetting where they put their keys, rivers refusing to flow in straight lines. But sometimes time itself pauses, just for a breath, just long enough for two people to stand on opposite sides of a river and realize they have somehow been looking for each other their entire lives. The StoryKeeper knew this. He had been waiting for this particular moment for longer than either Mary or Michael could possibly understand. And yet, when it finally arrived, he wasn't ready. He stood beneath the old willow tree, watching the river shimmer beneath the moonlight. His hands rested on the top of his walking stick. His eyes were fixed on the two figures standing on opposite banks. Mary, Michael, older now, no longer children, no longer innocent enough to believe that every strange feeling could be explained away. Mary was 17, Michael was 18, and they had never properly met. Not in this life, not yet. But across the water, they were looking directly at one another. Neither spoke, neither moved. And somewhere beneath the river, something ancient opened its eyes. The StoryKeeper closed his own. "Oh dear," he whispered. The river gave a small ripple. "You've remembered." Mary had not intended to come to the river that night. That was the first strange thing. She had been walking home after visiting the clockmaker. The old man had been quieter than usual. He had spent most of their visit polishing the same brass gear over and over again. Mary had finally laughed. "You've been polishing that for 10 minutes. The clockmaker had looked at the gear, then at her, then back at the gear. "Have I?" "Yes." "Well, good. Good. It means I haven't broken it yet." Mary had rolled her eyes. The clockmaker smiled. He had become very good at making jokes when he didn't want to answer questions. But unfortunately for him, Mary had become very good at asking them, especially since the compass. She had kept it hidden beneath her clothing ever since he gave it to her. The strange little compass. The one that had belonged to no ordinary map. The one that sometimes pointed north and sometimes pointed nowhere. And then there was the letter. The sealed letter the clockmaker had given her. Open it when the compass stops. Mary still hadn't opened it, because the compass has never stopped. Until tonight. Mary reached into her coat as she walked. Her fingers found the little brass object. She pulled it out. The needle wasn't pointing north. It wasn't pointing south. It wasn't pointing anywhere she recognized. It was pointing towards the river. Mary stopped. Her heart gave one hard beat. No. The compass trembled in her hand. Then it began to glow. Not brightly, just enough to illuminate her fingers. Mary stared at it. She had seen it glow before, but never like this. And then she heard something. A sound carried across the night. Branch snapping. Mary looked up. The river was ahead. She hadn't realized how close she had come. The moon was reflected in the water. The trees stood perfectly still. And on the opposite bank, someone was standing there. A boy? No, not a boy. A young man. Mary couldn't see his face clearly at first. He stood with one hand at his side, and the other was holding something. Something that seemed to give off the faintest of light. Mary took one step closer. So did he. She stopped. He stopped. Neither understood why, but both felt the strange sensation of recognition. Not the ordinary kind. Not the, I've seen you somewhere before. This was different. It was deeper, older. It felt like remembering a song that she had never heard. Like recognizing a place that she'd never visited. Like hearing her name spoken by someone who shouldn't know it. Mary's breath caught. The young man across the river looked at her, and suddenly she remembered a little girl. A little girl standing beneath a tree. A little girl holding a compass. A little girl waiting. Mary blinked, and the memory vanished. She looked across the river again. The young man's face seemed so familiar. Impossible, but familiar. He was thinking the same thing. Michael had been walking along the river because he couldn't sleep. That was the second strange thing. Lately, sleep had become difficult. Every night, he dreamt of the same things. A suitcase. A woman he couldn't quite see. A river. And a feeling that someone was waiting for him. Tonight, he had finally gotten tired of trying to understand it. So he had gone walking. The glowing object was in his pocket. He had never told anyone about it. Not his friends, not his family, no one. He didn't know what it was. He only knew that sometimes when he touched it, he could feel something. A warmth, a pulse, almost like a heartbeat. He reached the river, and that's when he saw her. At first, He thought she was simply someone walking home. Then she looked up. Their eyes met. Michael forgot how to breathe. The object in his pocket became warm, very warm. He pulled it out. It glowed. Across the river, the girl's hand lifted. She was holding something too. A compass. Michael stared. He knew that compass. He didn't know how, but he knew it. His mind filled with flashes. A meadow, a little girl, a little boy. Two hands reaching towards each other. A promise. And then, nothing. Michael looked back at her. She was crying. And he hadn't realized that he was crying too. Neither moved. The river flowed between them slowly, as though it didn't want to separate them. Mary finally spoke. Her voice was barely louder than the water. "Do I know you?" Michael's lips parted. He didn't answer immediately, because the truth was, he didn't know. And yet every part of him wanted to say yes. Finally, he whispered, "I think you know me." Mary's heart skipped. What does that mean? Michael shook his head. "I don't know." The river rippled, and then something extraordinary happened. The water between them began to glow. Mary took another step towards the edge. Michael did the same. The compass in Mary's hand began spinning. The object in Michael's palm pulsed with light. And beneath the surface of the river, a reflection appeared. Not their reflection. Children. Mary stared. A little girl, a little boy, standing beneath a tree, holding hands. She gasped. Michael stepped backwards. No. The image shifted. Now, the children were standing beside an old suitcase. The same suitcase Michael had seen in his dreams. The little boy placed something inside of it. The little girl held the compass. Then the image changed again. They were older still, walking towards one another, always missing, always turning away, always arriving a moment too late. Mary's hands flew to her mouth. Who are they? Michael couldn't answer. The reflection disappeared. The river became ordinary again. Just water, just moonlight, just two people standing on opposite banks. Mary looked at Michael. He looked at her. And something inside both of them broke open. Not painfully, beautifully. A memory. Not complete. Just enough. Michael whispered, "Mary." She froze. She had never told him her name. "How do you know my name?" Michael looked terrified. "I don't." Mary said, "You just said it." "I know." Mary stepped closer. "Who are you?" He swallowed. "Michael." The compass stopped. Completely. The needle settled. For the first time in years, it was still. Mary stared at it, then at him. The letter. The clockmaker. The promise. Everything suddenly seemed connected. She reached beneath her coat and felt the sealed envelope. Michael looked towards her. "What is that?" Mary hesitated. "A letter." "From who?" Michael asked. "The clockmaker." Michael's expression changed. "The clockmaker? You know him?" "Yes." He paused. "I've dreamed about him." Mary's eyes widened. The river suddenly surged. A wave struck the bank. Both of them stepped back. And somewhere between them, a bell rang. Once. Mary turned. There was no bell tower nearby. Michael looked behind himself. Nothing. When they turned back towards the river, the StoryKeeper was standing beneath the willow tree. Neither of them had seen him arrive. Mary stared. She had never met him. And yet, she knew him too. Not his name, not his story, but the feeling of him. Like a page from a book she had read in another life. Michael stared at the old man. The StoryKeeper looked at them. His expression was not one of surprise. It was sorrow and hope together. Mary took a step towards him. "Who are you?" The old man smiled faintly. "Well, that depends." Mary asked, "On what?" "On whether you're asking as Mary." He looked at Michael. "Or as the girl who had been searching for him." Mary's face went pale. Michael stepped forward. "How do you know us?" The StoryKeeper looked at the river. "I had known you for a very long time." Michael shook his head. "That's impossible." The StoryKeeper chuckled. "Most important things are." Mary tightened her fingers around the compass. "You knew we'd meet?" Clockmaker: "No." "Well, then why are you here?" The StoryKeeper's smile disappeared. "Because you weren't supposed to meet tonight." Silence. Mary looked at Michael. Michael looked at Mary. The river seemed to hold its breath. "What happens now?" Mary asked. The StoryKeeper lowered his eyes. "That is the question." He looked towards the compass, then towards the object in Michael's hand. The promise has awakened. Michael frowned. What promise? The StoryKeeper didn't answer. Mary felt something move beneath her coat. The sealed letter. She pulled it out. The envelope was warm. The wax seal had begun to crack. The StoryKeeper saw it. His face changed. No. Mary stared at him. What? Don't open it. But the clockmaker told me to. I know what he told you. The StoryKeeper looked frightened now. That frightened Mary more than anything. What is in this letter? The old man looked at Mary, then at Michael, then at the river, and said, the truth. Michael gave a humorless laugh. Apparently, everyone in my life knows the truth except me. The StoryKeeper almost smiled. Welcome to the human experience. Mary looked down at the envelope. The wax seal cracked again. A tiny piece fell away. She could feel something inside. Not paper. Something heavier. Something old. She looked at Michael. He was watching her. And for the first time since they'd seen each other, she smiled. It was small, uncertain, but real. Michael smiled back, and somehow that was enough. The StoryKeeper looked away because he knew what happened next, and he wasn't sure if he could bear to watch it. They left the river separately. They had to. Neither understood why. But somehow, both knew they couldn't cross it yet. Mary walked home holding the compass in one hand and the sealed letter in the other. Michael walked in the opposite direction with the glowing object hidden in his pocket. Neither spoke. Neither looked back for several minutes. Then Mary stopped. She turned. Across the distance, Michael had stopped too. They looked at each other. Mary raised her hand. Michael did the same. Neither waved. They simply stood there, acknowledging. I saw you. You saw me. And somehow, I think we've been looking for each other. Then they turned away. But the river had not forgotten them. Neither had the StoryKeeper. And neither had the past. Later that night, Mary sat on the edge of her bed. The house was quiet. Moonlight spilled across the floor. She placed the compass beside her. Then she looked at the letter. The seal was broken. She hadn't opened it, not yet. She could still hear the StoryKeeper's warning. Don't open it. She turned the envelope over. There was writing on the back. 3 words. Well, she'd never seen them before, but she recognized the handwriting. It was her own. Mary's heart stopped. The message read, "He will remember first." She stared at it. Then another line slowly appeared beneath the first, as though invisible ink were awakening. "But you will remember why." Mary dropped the letter. The compass began to spin. Across town, Michael sat awake in his room. The glowing object rested on the table. He had finally decided to examine it. He turned it over. For the first time, he noticed something engraved on the underside. Symbol, a circle, two intersecting lines, and beneath it, a name, Mary. Michael stared. His hands began to shake. Then the object opened, not physically. Something inside it opened. A memory poured into his mind. A little boy, a little girl, a river, a promise, and a voice. His own voice, but much younger. "If we can't find each other here," the little girl answered, "then we'll find each other somewhere else." The boy smiled. "Promise?" She held out her hand. "I promise." Michael opened his eyes. He was crying. And now he understood the strangest part. He hadn't just dreamed of Mary. He had remembered her. The StoryKeeper stood alone beneath the willow tree. The river moved quietly beside him now. He removed an old photograph from inside his pocket. It was faded. The edges were worn. Two children stood in the picture. Mary, Michael, together, holding hands. But that wasn't what frightened him. It was what stood between them. Third figure, a woman. Someone neither Mary nor Michael have ever met. Someone who should not have been there. The StoryKeeper turned the photograph over. Written on the back were the same words that had appeared on Mary's letter. He will remember first, but she will remember why. The StoryKeeper closed his eyes. So it has begun. A voice answered from behind him. You knew it would. He froze. Slowly, he turned. The clockmaker stood beneath the trees, older, tired, holding a small brass key. The StoryKeeper stared at him. You weren't supposed to come. The clockmaker smiled. Neither were they. He looked towards the river, which is precisely why I came. The StoryKeeper's grip tightened around his walking stick. Why did you do? Why did you do this? The clockmaker looked almost offended. What makes you think I did anything? Well, you gave Mary the compass. Yes. You gave Michael the fourth object. Yes. You knew they would find one another. The clockmaker shrugged. I'd hoped. The StoryKeeper stepped closer. You changed the sequence. The clockmaker's expression became serious. No. He held up the brass key. I unlocked it. And the river suddenly began to glow. Both men turned. Far downstream, a single light appeared beneath the surface. Then another. Then another. The StoryKeeper whispered, Oh no. The clockmaker smiled sadly. It's awake. What is? The old man looked at the river. The part of their story they were never meant to remember. A deep sound rolled beneath the water. Not thunder, something older. The river moved backwards, just for a second. Leaves lifted from the surface. The moon's reflection shattered. And somewhere far away, Mary woke suddenly. She sat upright in her bed. The letter was lying on the floor. The compass was spinning wildly. And someone was standing outside her window. She froze. A figure. A woman watching her. Mary slowly moved towards the window. The figure stepped into the moonlight. Mary's breath caught because she knew that face. She had never seen it before, and yet she knew exactly who it was. The woman raised one hand. In it was an old photograph. The same photograph the StoryKeeper was holding. Mary stared. The woman smiled. Then she spoke words Mary had heard once before, in a dream that she had forgotten. You finally found him. Mary's hands went to the compass. Who are you? The woman looked towards the river, then back at Mary. I'm the reason you had to forget. The compass stopped. The room went completely silent. And somewhere across town, Michael woke at exactly the same moment. His glowing object had gone dark. For the first time, there was no light, only words. Words engraved across its surface. Words that had not been there before. Michael read them slowly. The first memory is not yours. He turned the object over. A second line appeared. It belongs to her. Michael whispered Mary's name, and far away, Mary whispered his. Neither knew the river had already begun carrying the past towards them. Neither knew that the promise they made as children had never been forgotten. And neither knew that finding each other was only the beginning. because sometimes the hardest part of a soul contract isn't finding the person you're meant to love. It's remembering why the universe made you forget them in the first place. And beneath the moonlight river, something ancient was waiting. Something that had been waiting since before Michael and Mary ever came to Earth. The StoryKeeper looked at the dark water. The clockmaker stood beside him. Neither spoke. Finally, the StoryKeeper whispered, "Do you think they'll forgive us?" The clockmaker looked towards the distant light of the town. No. Pause. Then he smiled. "But I think they'll understand." The river gave one final ripple, and somewhere beneath its surface, a child's laughter echoed. Then a girl's voice. Then a boy's. And together, they whispered the words that have started everything. Promise? Promise. The StoryKeeper's eyes closed. The clockmaker turned away, and the river remembered. To be continued.